The WNBA Finals, the biggest stage in women's basketball, the moment these athletes have dreamed about since they were kids. A'ja Wilson, one of the league's biggest stars, is supposed to be having her championship moment. The arena should be packed. The energy should be electric. Fans should be going crazy. Look at these empty seats. We're talking rows and rows of vacant chairs. And you want to know what's even more insane? Tickets are selling for $6. $6. Bro, you can't even get a decent sandwich for that price. And behind the scenes, Commissioner Cathy Engelbert is reportedly losing her mind. Sources say she's absolutely furious, working around the clock because what was supposed to be the WNBA's victory lap just turned into the league's worst nightmare. And we're going to break down exactly how this all went wrong. Let's get into it. Let's talk numbers, because the numbers don't lie. Last year, when Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever played the Connecticut Sun in the first round, the cheapest ticket was $133. Regular season Fever games, sold out arenas, standing room only, fans camping out for tickets. Fast forward to this year's finals, A'ja Wilson versus Diana Taurasi, two of the biggest names the WNBA has promoted for years. The league's so-called gold standard. And teams are practically giving away tickets. $6 finals tickets. Teams doing Black Friday sales in October just to get people in the building. Free tire changes with ticket purchases, free car washes, desperate promotions that scream panic. The cameras can't hide it anymore. During broadcasts, they're avoiding wide shots entirely, sticking to tight angles that disguise the catastrophe in the upper decks. But fans at home aren't stupid. Social media is flooded with panoramic photos of barren arenas. One viral post showed the empty seats with a caption that cut deep. The finals, sponsored by crickets. This wasn't supposed to happen. The WNBA spent all season bragging about record-breaking attendance and viewership. They told everyone this was sustainable growth, that the league had finally arrived, that women's basketball was mainstream now, but here's what they didn't want to admit. It was all Caitlin Clark. Sources close to the commissioner's office paint a picture of absolute chaos. Cathy Engelbert is reportedly working 18-hour days, fielding panic calls from team owners, network executives, and sponsors who are all asking the same question: what happened? Behind closed doors, Engelbert is said to be furious, not just about the attendance, but about how exposed the league has become. For months, she defended the narrative that the WNBA's growth was organic, that it was about the entire league elevating together, that no single player could make or break the sport. Now that narrative has completely collapsed, and the numbers are devastating. Game 1 of the finals pulled ratings that were barely half of what the Fever's playoff games generated. Social media engagement down 70%, merchandise sales plummeting. Even ESPN, which had devoted entire segments to WNBA coverage during the regular season, suddenly went back to wall-to-wall NFL coverage. One network executive was quoted anonymously saying, "We invested in momentum, not controversy. We were promised sustainable viewership. This isn't what we signed up for," and Engelbert knows it. She knows that every empty seat is proof that the critics were right. The league wasn't experiencing organic growth, it was experiencing the Caitlin Clark effect, and now that Clark's season is over, the bubble has burst spectacularly. During a press conference that was supposed to celebrate competitive excellence, Engelbert faced a media firing squad. The first question cut straight through the PR spin. "Commissioner, how do you explain record low attendance and declining fan engagement during what should be your biggest moment?" Watch her face in that moment. The forced smile. The rehearsed answer about scheduling conflicts and football season. Nobody was buying it. The follow-up question landed even harder. Isn't this really about how the league mishandled Caitlin Clark's rise and alienated her fans? That's when Engelbert's composure cracked. Her tone turned defensive, almost angry. "This isn't about one player," she insisted. "We have incredible talent across the league, but that defensiveness, that told everyone everything they needed to know." Within minutes of that press conference, social media exploded. The hashtag #FireEngelbert started trending, not from trolls or casual fans, but from people who had genuinely invested in the WNBA this season. People who bought jerseys, attended games, and believed the league was turning a corner. They felt betrayed, and they weren't shy about expressing it. One viral thread laid out the timeline of Engelbert's failures, how she stood by silently while veteran players took shots at Clark all season, how the league's social media barely acknowledged Clark's record-breaking performances, how officials seemed to look the other way when Clark was targeted with physical play that crossed the line. The thread accumulated over 50,000 retweets and ended with a simple question: if you knew she was your golden goose, why did you let everyone cook her? Sports analysts who had previously given Engelbert the benefit of the doubt started calling her leadership tone deaf. Stephen A. Smith went on a passionate rant. You can't chase away the person who built the house, then complain nobody's visiting. This is Management 101. You protect your stars, you embrace what works. Instead, the WNBA acted like Caitlin Clark was a problem to manage rather than a gift to celebrate. Even ESPN's own broadcasters seemed frustrated. During a halftime show, one analyst said point blank, "Fans have spoken. They care about stories, not slogans. And right now, the WNBA isn't telling a story anyone believes." Behind the scenes, the commissioner's nightmare was getting worse. Sponsors who had committed to multi-year deals were reportedly requesting emergency meetings. They wanted answers about return on investment. They wanted to know if the WNBA could deliver the viewership they'd been promised. Some were quietly exploring exit clauses in their contracts. Team owners were livid. Several had invested millions in facility upgrades and marketing campaigns based on projections that assumed continued growth. Now they were staring at empty arenas and wondering if they'd been sold a fantasy. And the players? Oh, the players were caught in the crossfire. Kathy Engelbert knew she was in trouble, real trouble, the kind that ends careers and defines legacies. So she did what desperate leaders do. She tried to spin her way out. The league's PR team went into overdrive, flooding social media with highlight reels and feel-good stories about competitive balance and parity. They drafted talking points about sustainable growth and building for the future. They tried to redirect conversations away from attendance numbers and toward on-court performance. None of it worked. Fans flooded every WNBA post with side-by-side comparisons. Packed fever games versus empty final seats. Viral Caitlin Clark highlights versus crickets during A'ja Wilson possessions. The message was clear: we're not buying what you're selling anymore. Engelbert held an emergency meeting with representatives from both finals teams, reportedly pleading with them to focus on basketball, not narratives. But by then, the narrative had escaped her control entirely. Independent analysts, YouTubers, podcasters, everyone was dissecting what they were calling the biggest PR collapse in league history. The consensus was damning. The WNBA had a generational star fall into their lap, and instead of embracing her, they let jealousy and politics sabotage their own success. Even mainstream outlets that typically avoid league drama were piling on. Fox Sports ran a segment titled "How the WNBA Fumbled Its Future." The Athletic published a scathing investigation into the league's decision-making during Clark's rookie season. The Washington Post ran an op-ed asking if the WNBA was too proud to succeed. The final blow came from the ratings data. Game 2 of the finals drew the lowest finals viewership in over a decade, worse than during the pandemic. Worse than years when nobody was paying attention to women's basketball at all. Engelbert released another statement, this time acknowledging challenges, but insisting the league was still in a great place. The statement was immediately mocked online. Great place? One viral post read, "You're selling championship tickets for the price of a sandwich and calling it a great place." Here's the brutal truth that Kathy Engelbert doesn't want to face. The WNBA didn't lose viewership. It lost credibility. Fans didn't abandon women's basketball. They abandoned the attitude, the politics, the bitterness, the ego. They came for joy and competition and got lectures about paying dues. They came for exciting basketball and got subtweeted by players who resented their enthusiasm. Caitlin Clark represented something the league desperately needed: accessibility. She played with passion. She embraced her fans. She didn't lecture anyone about what they should care about. She just played basketball at an elite level and let people enjoy it. And the league, led by Engelbert's cautious corporate approach, squandered it. Now, as the commissioner stares at empty arenas and collapsing ratings, petitions demanding her resignation are gathering thousands of signatures daily. Sponsors are reconsidering commitments. Networks are trimming coverage. Season ticket renewals are slowing to a crawl.